considering that Pakistan has been criticized, especially in the recent past when the first attempt to US Afghan Taliban talks were initiated. President Trump reached out to Pakistan trying to get their support on this. The criticism was heavy. Now, considering this report, do you see this as, in a way, clarifying a lot of misapprehensions people had about Pakistan's role with influencing or not influencing the Taliban in these talks?
So I think that for me, this report is really welcome because for the first time, it emphasizes that issues are on both sides along the border. It emphasizes that both governments are actually blaming one another for that issue that is that should not, let's say, foster blame, but that should actually foster effective cooperation from security services on both sides of the border. So from that perspective, yes, this report is very welcome and is finally understanding that problem as a systemic problem and not just a national problem on either side.
I'm glad you mentioned point number 57 because it's about the foreign terrorists and where the countries that they are coming from. And I just would like to list out here, besides Pakistan being one of them, China, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and many more have been mentioned because this is becoming a problem that is now been more apparent that ISIS itself is a very fluid force. It's not really about, killing the fighters. It's chasing down the ideology and squashing it. And this is where we're in a conundrum when it comes to the US-Taliban talks, because when US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, he talks about this, and he said this on Monday, that President Trump's administration was moving ahead with the peace talks, but they expected the Taliban to sort of rein in the violence. I mean, is that a reasonable expectation to have from the Taliban?
It is a reasonable expectation. In Nangarhar, they have been fighting the Islamic State quite successfully. There has been some cooperation in relation to fostering reduction of violence, both from the perspective of the United States and the Taliban. And yes, the Taliban have delivered in some provinces. So it is definitely something that that can be expected to be expanded in the future within this, hopefully, this prospective peace deal.